Aggrend responds, the future of Season of Discovery. So this was a post made by Aggrend on Twitter that I wanted to take a look at here. Maybe, yeah, we can do it like this, I guess. So I just wanted to like read this with you guys because Season of Discovery obviously is entering more of like an endgame phase from where we've had it before. And I wanted to see this. So, I usually don't get into replying to stuff like this on YouTube comments, but I hear you. It's hard to get into super specifics for a few reasons. Or this was on a YouTube video. It's sometimes tricky to talk about the future when we don't always know exactly what we're going to do in a year or two, etc. One of the nice things about our team is that we can kind of adjust our plans quickly. Huge dev teams with hundreds of developers have extremely deep pipelines that really struggle to change things quickly once they are moving in a certain direction. We are smaller, so we can pivot. And that's one of the things that I love about working with Classic. We've been following our nose and making those pivots as the train is moving down the tracks. A good example of what can be slightly awry when you speak too soon is the Warcraft Direct. It was mentioned that Nax was the final phase in our presentation for that at the time. It was our intention that Nax be the final full phase, and whatever else we had to tackle would be sort of phase 7.1 or 7.5, but not 8. Since then, the team came together, and between how much fun we've had with building Karasan, Crypts, and the Scarlet Enclave, we are all in on a really great, really robust phase 8, sorry. So yes, the Scarlet Enclave raid is real. I wish I could tell you more because it is, to me, as a developer on the Classic team since day 1, the most exciting thing I've gotten to work on yet. This is very true. I think there's like good and bad things about like being a small team. I guess they have less resources to actually do a lot of great things. But the things that they can do quite quickly, and they can change stuff really fast. I will say though, with all the ups and downs of SOD, I think my personal favorite things about SOD was the early quest chains and all the stuff in phase 1, and also Karasan Crypts was absolutely immaculate. Incursions, I don't know about that though. Pretty random he wrote out all this in a YouTube comment. Yeah, it's very like out of the left field, isn't it? Alright, giving too much info early can be harmful because of the TLDR nature of communications and info sharing these days, and the reality of the question is, when does SOD end? Is a lot of questions with nuance. We could say phase 8 is the final phase, and all those hundreds of people you mentioned who are saying, well, I'd start now, but now it's at the end, would just hear, it's over. And they'd think about it, and they would never think about it again. Very true. You gotta be very careful with your wording, I guess, with this stuff. The reality is, we think there's so many more months of content left in SOD, and we're trying to pin out a definite end date, really just harms the experience of people that would still have months of years of fun with the content that already exists and is coming. Years of content, by the way. Alright. SOD will end in the sense that it will stop actively developing large amounts of new content, but it won't be hard date it ends today. So, this is essentially, we're gonna have SOD era. Yeah, so, I mean, he's pretty much essentially confirming it in a YouTube comment section here that SOD era will be a thing, essentially. And we had no intention of closing the SOD servers. I can't say never because I don't know the future, but I can say that much like era, we have no plans at all to close them. And I do expect that some amount of the population will continue when active development slows. Just as we see in Era today, I think that once people see that what's in the next phase, this will be more likely. Replaying phase SOD would be awesome. From how I see it, Chilinsky, I don't think SOD phase 1 would have the same appeal or fun anymore. Because what made SOD phase 1 so special and unique and awesome was that you didn't know anything. You know, people figured out. There was a guy in our community called Nisos who figured out that like scorpion pets were like insanely OP. And so he started doing a scorpion pet, and then suddenly everybody was using scorpions, and there was like scorpion PvP videos. It got nerfed, and it was like the thunder lizard, or the thunderhawk, sorry. Like it was just like, it was so good because you didn't know what was happening. And that's what made SOD so unique, right? At least in the beginning. Regardless though, the last thing I'd say is that everything we've done in SOD is for a reason. We have big aspirations as a team, but where we had to learn some hard lessons about what it is and isn't appropriate even in a very aggressive, progressive version of vanilla. I've said in an interview in the past that we try to take on things like a so-called Classic Plus. If we try... Ooh, this is a big part of this. If we try to take on something like so-called Classic Plus, we want to be confident going into it that we can deliver something that most people will want to will like. I don't think SOD is what I'd call an ideal Classic Plus. Very true. Even if it's the hand down, my favorite version of WoW I've ever played in the 21 years of playing WoW. 15 years of working on WoW and 7 years working on Classic. I actually think a lot of people agree with this. It seems like a lot of people genuinely really like SOD, which is awesome. I think for me, I just got kind of like swallowed into the whole hardcore thing and what is it called, like OnlyFans and stuff like that, which is probably why I didn't play much SOD. I do think, and this is, I genuinely think if I didn't do OnlyFans and all that stuff, I probably would have played SOD as like my main thing. I think SOD would have probably been what I would have been doing the most in WoW. Regardless, overall I think they've done a great job with it. There are some things we did in SOD that we'll never do again, and there were many more things in SOD that we want to keep developing and carry forward. To put a pin on that, our team is also growing as well, specifically in the department of design, people who can try to build new content. That is also very exciting. That's actually huge. Because this is the most exciting part. The new content, the things we haven't seen before. Karasa and Crypts and like the Scarlet Enclave and like all the random like agent quest chains and quest lines and stuff we've never seen before that's within the game. That's awesome. Let me go up here so we can read the final part. So yeah, we aren't going to cut on and be disingenuous about SOD. SOD has the word season in the title, and that means that at some point we will shift more focus on other things. But just because that will happen eventually doesn't mean that you should enjoy it. And if it's something you enjoy or you think you might enjoy, it's never too late to start. And the more eyes and feedback on the lessons we get from what we put out in SOD, the better things we move on, we work on will be. We'll have more info about Scarlet Enclave and what's out pretty soon, so sit tight for that. Honestly, pretty random that this was posted on a YouTube comment section. That is like really freaking cooked. I've been told I say that word too much. That's really weird, honestly. But which YouTube video was it? I'm not sure. I can try to go back to the Reddit post in a second and look at that. But, I mean, takeaway from this is that, yes, they're learning from stuff. I assume the things he's talking about that they probably aren't too happy about is the incursions, because the incursions really killed a lot of momentum they had built up. I'm glad to see that there's gonna be some sort of like an era server for the thing, because I think there's a lot of people that play SOD that would like to have an era server for it. And why shouldn't they, right? They invested like a year basically at this point into it, so why not? I see it, and I respect that the people want to see that. I'm excited for the Scarlet Enclave stuff. I'm not sure how crazy I'll be about it, but the fact that the team is growing and the fact that they recognize that people do want to see new content, I think is very good. And it could be like a nice shift towards something a little bit greater than just SOD, right? Which I like, and I think that's pretty cool. Overall, interesting post. Very strange place to post it, but this was a very nice little information from Aggrend here. If Classic Plus become a reality, they need to remove Aggrend from the stream. I think Aggrend is quite passionate about it, and from what I've spoken to him about, I went to BlizzCon and saw him there too. He's passionate about the game doing well, and I think there's a lot more to it than just oh well, this guy, you know, he didn't do what I like, so he's not cool. I think the Classic team, honestly, from what I've spoken to them about, they are all very passionate about Vanilla WoW. They actually are, which is cool. SOD is okay, so you can buy runes and XP is increased. If I didn't do OnlyFans, yeah, I mean, but I did. I don't know where this was posted, though. It was in some YouTube video. Regardless, though, there it is, guys. That was Aggrend's response to the future of SOD. Staff is hyped, company isn't. You can ask Classic Analysts about Classic Plus and you'll get a very different idea. The problem with Classic WoW, and no, Classic Plus specifically, is, we've spoken about this in many videos before in the past, is that everybody has a different depiction and idea about the perfect Classic Plus, which means that it'll never be the perfect Classic Plus for everybody, because everybody wants different things. But as long as you steer into a direction that most people can agree with and most people like, and you stick to a certain theme, not trying to please everybody, then I think we have a pretty good team for that, right? He's incorporating retail features into SOD instead of listening to feedback. For example, Demonfall Canyon Dungeon was made while he's on vacation and without his knowledge. I think Demonfall Canyon was kind of shit. But I will say I agree with you, Rakanastu, sorry. I think Demonfall Canyon, in my opinion, was a lazy dungeon with not much exciting thing about it. It was very much mid at best. Karasa Crypts though, innovative, interesting mechanics, very unique, very awesome. Holy shit. Karasa Crypts 10 out of 10. Demonfall Canyon, really mid. I do agree with what you said though in the latter half of your message, Rakanastur, where you mentioned that they... No, in the first half of your message, sorry. I think a lot of the spells and runes that we got in SOD was very bloated. And a lot of them were essentially just Wrath or Cataclysm spells, which was a bit lazy. I think they went way too extreme on the runes, for my personal taste. But, regardless... my overall experience with SOD was still quite good. There's some things I didn't like, and there's some things that I did like. In all fairness, that's what people wanted. New, fresh dungeons. Demonfall was a prototype, so other new dungeons can come into SOD. That's a fair point. I will say it was an interesting experience doing Demonfall Canyon, but I didn't personally really like the dungeon. It wasn't really something exciting to really do, whereas Karasan was. Hi, Freelancer. Regardless, though, that's my final thoughts about that. So, yeah, that's the Aggrend response to the SOD stuff. We're excited to see where they're gonna take SOD, and I'm excited to see if they'll do a potential Classic Plus in the future. I'll definitely keep my eyes out for it, right? You will literally never make classic players happy. Very true. Swipper, what's up, dude? I love that I really got to see some dungeons I never saw, like No More. Yeah, true. Yeah, it was fun. Overall, good experience with SOD.